93 XRT, Chicago's finest rock. And finally, we have our expected guest in the studio with us today, a man who is one of the founding members, one of the key songwriters. Hopefully,
one of the Liberty Bells, one of the blocks of stone that form the Great Wall of China.
From XTC, it's Andy Partridge who's visiting us today.
He couldn't come, so I'm here instead.
Very good. XTC listeners know by songs here they've heard on XRT, like, and man, we got a list of them here. 10 Feet Tall, Peter Pumpkinhead, My Bird Performs, Dear Madam Barnum, Mayor of Simpleton, King for a Day, Earn Enough for Us, Dear God, This World Over, Love on a Farm Boy's Wages, Senses Working Overtime, Generals and Majors, Making Plans for Nigel, Life Begins at the Hop, and from the new album, You
left out Baby Grease My Gusset.
I did leave a few things out.
You're the weasel farmer of my dreams.
Let me write these down. You don't have these copyrighted yet, do you? Oh. Are these all albums, are all song titles for songs that you've collected over the last several years?
I'll tell you what I do collect is group names. I just can't stop making up group names.
Oh.
I've got books of them. I mean, things like the Sopwith Caramels, the 10 Commandos, the 12 Flavors of Hercules. What a hell of a band. I just can't stop making up band names.
So, now that you have, it seemed like you'd stopped making up albums, though. Last album was in 1992. Is that because you made so much money in royalties off those albums up till that point that you could just afford to go into semi-retirement?
Of course. We just sat there going, 10 cents, 20 cents, 30 cents. And it sat in the counting house, you know. Basically, we went on strike because we were never going to make a living with Virgin Records. We were on the label 20 years, and we still hadn't gone into the black. And they'd made, conservative estimate would be something like £35 million out of us, and we hadn't gone in the black. Something a little awry there with the contract, methinks. So I said, look, make our contract better, which I knew they wouldn't. Or, can we go, please? Which I sensed they might not. And they didn't. They said, no, you're not going anywhere. So I said, right, we're on strike. You've had it. No more music for you. And they basically sat on us for 5 years until we threatened to cry and and ruin their new suits. No, eventually, after 5 years, we managed to get away. So, hurrah!
Yeah.
And we'd stored up a lot of songs, about 4 albums worth, and Apple Venus Volume 1 is about a quarter of that batch.
We could just jump right into one of those songs from that album, but
go on, spoil me.
I just wonder how many you've got. One album out now and another album coming out later. Do you think that you'll hold on to these songs and actually release 4 albums worth of songs, or will there be new songs by now?
No. I mean, out of that 4 albums worth of songs, we've taken the best 2 albums worth. Cream floats to the top, or is it the scum? I can't tell. Anyway, we've taken the kind of the best of the 4, and Volume 1 is out now, and we're commencing Volume 2 about early May, I should think, when we finish painting Colin's garage, so we can get in and record it.
Is that the kind of work you've been doing on the side while you've been in this semi-retirement?
You've been looking, haven't you?
Painting garages for a living?
Yeah, I was a great painter. One apartment, 2 coats.
Let's play a song from the new album, though. Let's play I'd Like That, and that'll give us a chance to settle down just a little bit more here. What do you want to tell us about this song? Anything?
What can I tell you about this song? This song was written during a very bleak moment in my life. I'd had an ear infection which left me deaf for 6 weeks, which was rather disturbing because the doctors didn't know whether I could hear again. But my nostrils work perfectly now, and I can hear, just fine. Woke up, found myself divorced, which sounds like an old blues number, doesn't it?
It does.
I couldn't work, couldn't work because of Virgin Records. I discovered the joy of owning a prostate and detonating it, drinking it to death, I think. And amidst all that cack, I fell in love. And it was wonderful, and I felt like I was 14 again, so I'd like that kind of reflex, the sort of ness of being in love.
The sort of, what was that?
The sort of ness.
Well, let's hear that then, from the brand new album by XTC on XRT. There you go, it's XTC from the brand new album Apple Venus Volume 1, and from XTC, Andy Partridge is with us today. Tell us about the non-traditional drumming in that song.
Never have thighs sounded so magnificent in the history of thigh playing. Well, on the demo, when I did a demo of that, I didn't know what I wanted the drums to do, so I thought, well, I'll just kind of stamp and play my thighs. You know, I'll just sit there and go like that, you know, and then I'll indicate to the drummer, you know, it's kind of something like this, and we'll work it all out. And when I brought the demo along, everyone said, yeah, that's great. What's that? And I said, well, it's just my thighs. Great. We got to leave it on. We must leave it on. So it's my thighs. It's my thighs, and I'll slap if I want to.
There you go.
Yeah.
Now, but throughout the album, there's a lot of orchestration. You had a big orchestra. Now, when you have an orchestra come in, do you just say, here's how the song goes, now you guys jam along? Or
no,
do you write every note for them?
First thing you say is you're buying your own lunch. There's 40 of them. No, you can't have them jam. I mean, we're not Oasis. I think that was the Oasis tale that someone said, yeah, well, we've got to get an orchestra in. The Beatles had an orchestra. We'll have to have an orchestra. And what are they going to play, Noel? I don't know. Get them to jam. Orchestras don't jam.
No,
you know, they're
don't.
not those kind of people. You know, so I think Oasis held up big boards with the chords written on. And
Right.
no, we did what they call digital arranging, which is one finger. First finger at a time. You sit there with a keyboard and you kind of go, maybe the violist should do this. Da, da, da. No, that doesn't sound right. Da, da, da. No, that's not right. You know, we spent months working through this stuff and doing it.
But digital recording.
Yeah, one finger at a time. But you're talking to the man who's played a keyboard with a cardboard hand in the past, so...
Well, I've heard about that. Tell me how that works. What do you mean
cardboard
a cardboard hand?
Well, I have a sequencer now, a computer, so I can sit and play with my one finger that remembers what I play. But prior to that, I would either write the notes on the keyboard, because, I mean, the thing's just like a grinning crocodile to me. It makes no sense at all, you know. Too logical for me. I'd either write the notes on the keyboard, or I've been known to find a chord that I liked on the keyboard and go, oh, that's great, what am I going to do? And then I'd run in from my home studio, cramping my hand in the same position, take a marker pen, draw around it on a cereal box or a piece of spare card or something, cut it out, run back to the studio, and then I can hold the chord down on the keyboard and then find the next one to go to without losing the shape of the first one. But
It sounds a little difficult.
It's a little difficult, but
any
any way that you can get it achieved. Cardboard hands are us. There's a
Okay.
store you should try.
that could be another band name. Now, you don't tour very often. It's been a while.
No need.
No need.
No need. There's plenty of other people touring, playing crappier music.
That's right. Well, I was thinking maybe it's just the difficulties of a tour that keep you from touring, and then I was going to suggest maybe you just pick a city, say where there's a radio station that plays all your records, set up in one town for a while, say a city that's got fine hotels and good restaurants and friendly Midwestern
Well, like
people.
Vegas?
Might be the rail hub or the air hub of the Midwest of America, and you set up, hire an orchestra, and just stay here for a couple of months and let people from
No need. I don't
around
need
the
to,
continent come
don't
here
need to
for it.
reproduce it. It's there on record. I
It
want to
is
move
there.
on to the next one, you know?
You know, the way the album starts out sounds like just a great concert opener to me, though. The song, I can just see the stage, a dark stage, and the violins playing, and the River of Orchids. Is that the first song starting
Yep,
up,
yeah.
and then moving right into the hit song from that, and
Yeah, and then the showgirls come on, and
Yeah,
the lame jackets, and you're a wonderful audience. We mean that sincerely. Just buy your $200 tour shirts at the door as you leave.
so
Suckers.
so that's-
I'm not interested in live. You know that.
yeah. So that's not going to happen.
That's not going to happen. We got that out of our system years ago, and I'm more interested in living a life. You know, you don't live a life on tour. You're an imprisoned performing robot. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
I could be a rich imprisoned performing robot, but I'd choose to be not as rich, or not as rich. I choose to have not touring money and have a life instead.
Now, when you first started making records, it was in the UK in the 70s. There was punk rock.
1870s.
That's right. Punk rock, new wave. You were kind of considered part of that scene. Now, with this new album, sometimes it's not even rock at all. Isn't that
It's
right?
not. No, it's just XTC. I don't know what to tell you. We've been moving away from the mainstream, you know, slowly over the years until we're completely on our own little railway track there. You know, we still have a train, still have carriages, but it's not the great big showbiz run-of-the-mill track with the big shiny carriages and stuff. We have our own little puffing thing going around there, you know.
Yeah.
Goes at its own speed, does what it does lovely. You know, you leave it alone.
All right. Now, you picked this next song that I'm about ready to play. Why don't you tell us something about that from the new album?
Which one would you like to play?
The Easter Theater.
Easter Theater. Oh, right. Well, look, what can I tell you about this? This is a song that... in fact, there's a guitar in the corner. Hang on, I can do a little bit here.
Oh, really?
Well,
oh, that'll be nice.
I'll just put in the way of explaining.
We thought we'd just leave a guitar here for you, just in case.
Cynical.
Just in case there was a way we could entice you into that.
Well, I didn't tell you that. I have to set fire to every guitar I play. I hope you told that to the fellow that loaned it.
I did. He says that's fine.
Yeah, all right. So. But no, I was... let me take you way back now, way back into time, to the troglodyte times, to 1986. And I had these chords and this little melody, and while we were recording Skylarking, I took Colin aside one day and I said, Colin, I've got this great melody and these great little chords, and I don't know what the hell to do with it. And I don't know what I expected him to say, you know. I just played in the melody. Ba, 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 dum, ba, da, da, ba. You know, he just looked a little blank and said, yeah, nice melody, got any words? And I said, no, don't have any words. Any ideas? I said, no ideas what to do with it. So you kind of file it away in your head, you know, and it goes back into the subconscious in the junk drawer up in the attic, you know.
You didn't draw a cardboard hand on the fretboard.
No. Yeah, those chord shapes, give me that cardboard. No, I have a cardboard bottleneck for playing blues. Okay. And I filed those chords and that tune away in the old brain box there. And in '93, I'm sat down with my daughter's 2/3 scale school guitar, which it's an appalling guitar. It's the cheapest the shop could sell me, £35, made in Romania, home of all great rock and roll guitars, of course, you know. And I love the thing. Won't stay in tune, sounds horrible, but I play it all the time. And I've discovered these chords that I've never discovered before. And I found this lovely little pattern. Just yawn if I'm boring you, okay? Found this lovely little pattern that sounded so earthy, and the chords went... And they sounded really brown and sort of soily. And I thought, it's like dirt, and because it's ascending, it's like something pushing up through the dirt. So that's maybe flowers, Easter. Yeah, and I got onto the whole Easter kick there. I started sort of improvising the lyrics and stuff, you know, and soon I had this little melody coming, and I got up to the top there and I thought, well, where the hell am I going to go now? I can't really go much higher. Perhaps if I just stretch one finger. It's so tense, what can I do? And before I knew it, this little melody came back off of holiday from 1986 and just fell right into the spot and gave me stage left, enter Easter, and she's dressed in yellow. Stage right, now the sun has died, the father can be born. Stand up if we don't breathe in and blow away the smoke. So do not ever throw away bits of old song, no matter how old they are, because you never know when you're going to need it.
Okay, let's play the song from the brand new album by XTC on XRT. All right, XTC from the brand new album Apple Venus Volume 1. And
can you hear that scraping, plucking, sucking, twanging, banging, slurping? And that was before we got to the orchestra.
Well, that's really something. You said you recorded this at the Apple Studios, the old
Abbey Road.
Abbey Road Studios.
Abbey Road Studio 1. You know, that's the great big bam, 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 bam studio.
It would have to be for a 40-piece orchestra to fit in there. Right. Yeah, very nice.
Very thrilling seeing all these players and hearing all these players playing your music. You know, especially if you're a naive like me who's taken ages to put all this together. But they're just, you know, scraping away, sawing away and doing his stuff, and the hairs on the back of your tongue just stand up, I tell you.
Now, you worked on the songs. You had years to get all the songs together, and then didn't this orchestra come in and record just in one day? bang it
One
right
day.
out,
We
yeah.
couldn't afford any more than one day. It was £12,500 for one day.
Oh.
So, you know, we took months planning out what was going to happen and got the orchestra in a really hectic, long day. We basically recorded most of the album in that one day, and then spent the next few months after that editing and recording the vocals in Colin's living room and Colin's hall. I hope his family didn't mind us moving in there. You know, they had to eat a little quieter while we were making the album. The cutlery was getting on the tracks, you know.
I've heard albums like that, by the way. Now, this the album, it's mostly an acoustic album, or could you say completely an acoustic album?
Well, it's kind of acoustic, which is orchestral acoustic. You know, you have one acoustic instrument being the main spine of the song, usually, and then you have the heart, lungs, liver, and lights are orchestral textures, you know. Your cellos, your violas, your washboards, that kind of stuff.
Now, was this your intention when you wrote each of these individual songs? Did you already have an acoustic album?
I had a
concept?
real Jones to do this. It's a phrase I've learned recently, a Jones. I have no idea, but I love the sound of it. And another phrase is mook. I'm calling everyone a mook lately. Hey, you mook.
Okay.
So, no, I had a real Jones to do an orchestral thing. I mean, you can hear there's little signs on non-such pointing, you know, Andy wants to go that way, folks. And you can kind of see some of the stuff on there. I was really itching to do that. And as soon as we got non-such finished, I started work on the stuff that became this, you know.
Now, your guitarist for 20 years almost was a guy by the name of Dave Gregory. Now, did he leave because you were going in this direction, or did you go in that direction because you didn't have a guitarist?
Did we go in that direction because we knew he wouldn't like it? That was one of the reasons he left. I mean, there's no simple answer to this because Dave's an immensely complex person. He left because he didn't want to do the acoustic orchestral record. He left because we were making him wait to do the electric one, and he's an electric guitarist, basically. He left because he didn't want to spend a penny on an orchestra. He wanted to keep the money for himself. He left because he didn't want to do the book we were involved in. He left because he thought I was the devil, basically. That's how he gets all those good tunes.
It was the record label that was the devil.
No, Steve Gottlieb was
see?
the devil, and I'm just one of his Lucifer-like assistants, I'm sure.
Okay.
So Dave was unhappy with just about everything, and I thought it was a good idea that he left, because if he hadn't, I was rehearsing my firing him speech, and I didn't want to do that.
Yeah. Now the next album, though, you've addressed this almost, but you haven't explained it completely yet. But the next album, Apple Venus Volume 2, is actually something that you're planning. You're hoping will be released by the end of the year.
If we can do it, yeah.
About ready to record it, and it'll be an amplified electric guitar.
It'll be
follow-up
up
to this
your
album.
nose, in your face, down on your groin, nice noisy electric record. Yeah,
Great.
So it should complement this one nicely. You know, sweet and sour.
Yeah. Now, we've got a song queued up to play from this album. This is a kind of a spelling song.
So bring your children close to the radio that they may learn. Well, this is a song I didn't want to record for this album. This is a song that...
Well, who tells you to record it, then? Who's the boss here?
Well, I'm the boss, but sometimes old bossy baby has to make these decisions based on what he knows. I got myself divorced. I didn't want to get divorced. I suddenly found myself divorced. It was very painful. I felt I'd been really kicked in the nuts physically and mentally. It was the worst thing that's ever happened to me emotionally. And I said to myself, right, okay, I am not going to write any divorce songs. I refuse to turn into Phil Collins. It's a dirty job being Phil Collins. Even he doesn't want to do it, but, you know, someone's got to do it. So I did not want to turn into a kind of Phil Collins type, crying into his beard, songs for swinging divorcees type thing, you know. And this went on for a couple of months, and the pain was getting so intense. I was feeling so scummy and low about the whole thing. I thought, I've got to allow myself the luxury of just one, if I just write one hateful little song, all the feeling will come out, I'm sure. And this song, Your Dictionary, came out very quickly. It was a real case of fingers down the throat, blah, out comes the song. I felt so much better after I'd written it and made a little demo of it. And as the weeks and the months and then the years went by, I thought, no, we don't need to record this even. I mean, I feel different now. I feel better about the situation, you know. And people got to hear this song. You know, the rest of the band got to hear this song. Record companies, friends got to hear this, and they said, if there's one song you have to record, it's that one. We're not going to let you get away with not doing that song. And I guess I just weakened and said, okay, and we recorded it. But the recipient of this song has not heard it yet. So let us say the feces is still in midair on a holding pattern and has not yet landed at Fan International.
But somebody's going to hear this, and when they do, they'll say, hey, that's about me.
That's about me. And I didn't write it to her. I wrote it to ease the pus that was building up in my brain, you know, the hurt inside me. I wrote it to get that out and not to upset anyone else. But hey, it's not a bad little tune.
Okay, now just before we play it, let's mention where you're going to be in the rest of the day. You're on like a whirlwind tour. Now, didn't you just come out of Boston today? And
I was temporarily Mr. Snowbound in Boston.
And we apologize to listeners.
Where else have I been? Atlanta.
Going to be here earlier.
Atlanta, New Orleans, New York. I've just been doing this now for a week non-stop. There's another 10 days or something non-stop as well.
Well, we're really glad that you could stop by here in Cleveland and
brains
visit
frazzled.
us
Who
here.
am I? Who am I stopping by here? This is Cleveland, is it? They told me it was Dundee.
Now, you're going to be appearing tonight at Borders Books and Music, 7 o'clock tonight.
Yes, I shall deem to beam myself in.
And you'll say hi to him and heal them.
I'll sign their asses.
There you go. Okay. Andy Partridge of XTC. Let's play one more song here from the Apple Venus Volume 1 CD then. And thanks so much for coming by, and hope you do it again. And
cheers. Well, let's leave it on a bummer, shall we? Your dictionary.
okay.